Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Sacred Exchange, where souls meet, hearts transform, and love leads the way. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Jon.
And we are here to talk to you guys today about connection. And I think all week, it's been interesting, as it always is, but all week we've had a lot of different patterns of connection that have been coming up in both of our awarenesses, whether it's in our conversations with each other or we're talking to other people, and there's a lot of things that keep pointing back to connection.
Yeah, connection or disconnection, right? The lack of connection or how things are connectivity.
Yeah, connectivity, yes. That's right. That's right. And as always, I think one of the first things that comes up with connection is actually being connected to ourselves, connected to what our heart is truly showing us, instead of like getting kind of lost in like the what the mind tells us, but connecting with the heart, connecting with the body, connecting with the truth of who you are as a person, instead of all of the stories and all of the bullshit, essentially.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes hard for people, right? Is they don't know that connection to self.
Yeah.
They know the connection to the bullshit. They know the connection to what history or what their life has said it should be, but they don't actually have that connection, or they do, they just don't embody it.
Yeah. Well, and I think because we're not really taught how to connect with ourselves, right?
No.
We're taught to seek external validation. We're taught to seek connection with other people, with the world around us and whatnot. And to not get that, it feels so devastating to the inner being. But when you can actually go within yourself first to connect with yourself first, then it's like, it doesn't matter how anyone else is receiving you, how they're responding to you. You're not looking for that external validation. You're finding it within yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is a solo thing, right? It is more beneficial for you to seek that connection within yourself, to know yourself, than, I mean, if you don't know yourself, how can you be connected to anything else?
Yeah.
And you can, but know your connection first, right? To me, it's that goes to connection of source, is if you are connected to yourself, you can start to learn about the connection to this whole world.
Yeah.
Because we are just a microcosm of that interconnectivity.
Yeah.
So if you take your connection to yourself and knowing everything about you, and living your truth, you can start to see it in the world and how things are connected and whatnot.
Absolutely. And I think when it comes to that connection to source, I've struggled with that up and down in my life, and I've always had like deep curiosity to deepen that relationship, but I was looking at it, I was doing it kind of backwards, because I was looking in the external world to validate a connection to source, God, goddess, whatever you want to call it, instead of going within myself and discovering that relationship for myself. I was doing the things, the church said do this, and I'd do this, and I'd go, I'm still feeling disconnected. I'm not feeling a connection with God here. And it really wasn't until I was able to really get angry about things that were coming up and really questioning, why is all of this external stuff not working the way I think it's supposed to work? And I've seen it work for other people. I've seen them talk about, connect to source and listen to God and follow your divine purpose through God's word and forgive others. And it's like, I get these concepts, but I just couldn't see how it made sense in my life and how I could put it in my life. And it was in that I actually went within myself. So connecting with myself first, but then also in that I found God within.
Yeah. Yeah, and, we had talked about, sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to be able, and I can remember, I've been to rock bottom.
Yeah.
But there was always, the after, maybe it wasn't rock bottom, or parts of me hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
It wasn't till I was spending time alone, like when you were on the Camino.
Yeah.
When I'll say it was like a shock to my system.
Yeah.
At one point, for whatever reason, there was nothing major, no whatever. It just hit me like that connection piece came in hard.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, here you've got all of these things. You don't share them with the world. Like, it was like a hijack on my own self.
Yeah.
Where it's like was forced to get to know myself.
Yeah.
Or forced to
meet
express
parts of yourself. Yeah.
myself because I hadn't been.
Yeah.
And never had experienced that when I hit rock bottom before. It was just, you hit rock bottom, okay, you have a new awareness, okay, things change.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to that time where it was like, okay, there's something deeper here.
Yeah.
And that's where I started seeking, we started having more of these type of conversations where it's like, okay, let's go deeper. Let's talk about this more.
Yeah. And then in that moment of reckoning is kind of what I call it, is, did you feel connected to source as you had all of this stuff that was coming up? Did you feel that connection to the source energy, or did you feel like isolated from that source energy?
So I felt isolated from the world,
yeah,
but connected to source.
Got you.
And I know if some people may have experienced this, where you kind of feel like an alien, or people are not responsive to you because you're acting different, or maybe you're coming off differently or something like that. But in yourself, you're like, no, this is me.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where it's like, I care, but I don't care how you see me, how you perceive me, because I know this is the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've been through all of this stuff, and you yourself as well. Like, you've been through all these life events. What is the constant? You can trust that you're going to get up every day.
Yeah.
So why not trust that connection to source? That source is what keeps driving us.
Yeah. And see, I think that's where I didn't realize until I was writing Legacy of Love that curiosity, that spark within me to know God has been there since I was a very tiny person. And I always felt so separated from it. But as I was writing, and I'm, writing about these different experiences and stuff that I went through, I can see that theme of this curiosity that was always there. And even in my big moment of reckoning after the first Camino, I was like completely gobsmacked by all of the events of all of that, and then all of the emotions that were coming up. And I was angry at God for what God had created. And I put that in quotes because I recognize now that it wasn't that God was doing anything to me or to us or to Odin or anything like that. Yeah. Life was just playing out. And I was receiving it in such a way that allowed everything to come up inside of me all at once. But still in that curiosity got even louder. And it was curiosity, I think, based on desperation of, why is this happening? Make this all make sense right now. But I stayed open to allowing that to come in instead of swearing off God completely, which I had done in the past.
So would you say in that there's a disconnection? Because in those moments, would you say there was a disconnection from source because you're like, why is this Why are you doing this to me?
Oh, absolutely. It was my own self-made disconnection because I had my own expectation of what that journey was supposed to look like. And when the journey went as the journey went, my expectations were broken, my illusions were broken, and every part of me that had been, I'm going to say, playing a role of, if I do enough good, I'm going to receive this good, and now I've got this miracle coming towards me, and look at me, and la-di-da-di-da. And all of that got shattered because there's so many different layers to it, because I had been so vocal about us doing the Camino and how this was the big miracle and this was the big thing, and I'd been talking about it publicly for a very long time, and then it's like everybody's witnessing that this is not happening, and I felt like a failure. I felt like somehow I had created that, and so in that I disconnected from God, going, you've done this to me. But in that kind of like turning away from God, I realized then this is what my pattern has been, is I always turn away from source when things go bad.
Yeah.
And I always take ownership when things go good. And how messed up is that?
Yeah.
Like, what if I take ownership for, I've somehow created this in my field, and I give absolute praise when everything is going well?
Yeah, we have to take ownership of both, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to, and I wouldn't say ownership, you have to be accepting or willing that there's two sides to that coin.
Yeah. Well, it's very...
it just is how it's going to play out. And that's okay. Like, try not to get attached to one side or the other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's very humbling to recognize how you yourself have contributed to what the events are, only because of the frequencies that then come out of you as the events play out, as they do. And I know I was talking to you earlier about this week, that there was a book that I read, I want to say at the beginning of 2022, before the woman came to me and said, remember. And I don't remember what the name of the book is, but it was about manifesting. And the person in the book had said, whenever you're trying to manifest something and it doesn't happen, your reaction to it not happening is exactly the reason why it can't happen. And so if, in the example of us going on the Camino, so whatever, we're flown back home, we can't do the Camino, and I had anger that came up in big waves. I had a lot of grief that came up in big waves. I had a lot of not deservingness and unworthiness that came up in big waves. And those were all the parts of me that were creating this experience so that they could be expressed. But I took it as God's looking at me and going, see, you've got anger, so you can't do this. And it's like, well, that's not what it is. It's not a punishment. None of it is a punishment. I've created it because I didn't allow myself to express the anger, the disappointment, the frustration, the unworthiness prior to that moment. And in that moment, finally, I could express it. So it's interesting because I think for a lot of us, or for myself especially, because as a young person I experienced disconnect if I expressed anger, or if I expressed disappointment or frustration or anything that made me look like a bad girl or whatever, you learn to kind of collapse in on yourself and go, I won't express this part of me. And then that part of you ends up creating all of these kind of things that you're like, I don't want this. And so if you can express it with someone and just go, yeah, this is what I've got coming up right now, and they're able to meet it with love, then I think in that it starts to decreate or deconstruct, I guess.
Starts to break those things down.
Yeah, and then in that you start to have a deeper awareness of yourself and a deeper connection to yourself, because it's like, right, I've just got some anger coming up over this.
Well, and it's a good point. How much of this do we create, right? And we talk about manifesting, and earlier we were talking about we're talking about connection, right? Because this is the theme of our show today. And just what those connections look like externally and how much influence we have over those connections, right? So I was using the idea of, we are all connected to source, therefore we are all source, we are all God.
Yeah.
Right? So then if we're connected to everybody, the interactions we have with individuals, parents, whatever, we're manifesting or creating
or influencing
those connections.
Yeah.
There's parts of us that need whatever that is that we are creating.
Yeah. Well, and that can be so hard to take in sometimes because, like, especially when it's a difficult relationship.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, why do I have such a difficult relationship with this person? Why do I can be loving and kind with everyone else, but as soon as I'm in this person's presence, I'm like, not the nicest person or whatever it might be. And it's so interesting because their observation of you can change like all of your energy within you, and also your observation of them or your observation of being observed by them can automatically make you shift back into old paradigms and old patterns and stuff that you're trying to break free of. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and why am I creating this, right? What do I need out of this relationship?
Yes.
Instead of going, why is this person acting this way, right? Why are you this way? Why is this person that way, et cetera, et cetera? We don't ask ourselves,
why am I creating this?
Why am I creating this connection to this person to manifest this way to me?
Yeah. Yeah. What am I looking to learn in this? What am I looking to experience? What am I looking to express? Yeah. And I think sometimes, and it can be such a blind spot, and has been a blind spot for me many times, is sometimes I think we just get addicted to being the victim.
Yes.
Right? The poor me, look at my life, how everybody treats me, da 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 da. And in that we can get some of that love and connection that we're craving from other people.
Yeah.
Right? And it's only if we stay the victim. If we start to be the victor of our own lives, then we might lose that love and connection. So we stay in these kind of experiences so that we can be the victim. And then it feeds that story that we tell ourselves that I am a victim and I'm not creating my life. It's just happening to me.
Everything's happening to me instead of through me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know it's all over the internet right now where it's like, you're creating everything through you.
Yeah.
You are the creator of your life. You create your own reality. Your thoughts become things. All of these things are all over everywhere. But I think until you get curious about that and really look at how am I contributing this to my life, you can very easily stay in that victim mentality.
Yeah, you can talk the talk, right? Like you can say the words, I'm manifesting this, or this is mine way I'm going to live. And I've talked to you about this before. I think there's really the intention has to match the message. Yeah. For that connection to manifest the things that you want to be favorable, you have to align with that source, and it has to be a constant. It's not just a one-off, hey, today I want to have this, and boom, I get this. And it's not even about getting, it's bringing that, it's attracting that stuff into your field, right? It is, okay, I'm putting this out there because I want to do this for all of you.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for that instant, like, cookie or gold star.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because it feels good to me.
Yeah.
Because this is what I want to share with the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like if you say desire to be a famous singer, right? You don't just sit on your couch and eat chips all day and just keep telling yourself, I'm going to be a famous singer. I'm going to be a famous singer. You're going to want to practice singing. You're going to want to practice different voice ranges and da-da-da-da-da. And it becomes a strength that you're building. So no matter what it is that you're trying to call into your life, there's strength building that happens and we were talking about this last night about there's only one way to get it right.
Yes.
And there's millions of ways to get it wrong, but every time you get it wrong, it brings it in closer to getting it right, because now it's like, well, that doesn't quite work. Kind of like
It removes that variable, right? It's
yeah.
Okay, if this didn't work, okay, we're getting closer. This didn't work. This didn't work. So then, it's saying that is those trial and errors are not wrong, and they're not bad things. The things that we go through and that we are not in our highest, or we don't feel that they're in our highest, are not bad things.
Yeah.
They're just reducing us to get to the things that we want.
Exactly. I think when we first started this podcast, right, and we got on Facebook Live and, we had the conversation, it was like, okay, that was good.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of like ups and downs and going, this doesn't quite feel right to me yet.
Yeah.
There's something that's missing. There's something that needs to shift. And we were trying all these different things to try and make it work, I guess, in a more favorable way where we felt like the energy was flowing. And it turned out one of our big missing pieces was just simply not being able to look at each other when we were looking at the camera.
Yeah.
And looking at each other allows the energy to flow between us that much better. So that was a shift that needed to be made in order to be in alignment for a flow to happen.
Yeah. And now we're the connection to audience, connection to everybody. I mean, our purpose of this is to share this, right?
Yeah.
It's to share this connection, but to share our ideas, to get people to think a little bit differently, to go within themselves.
Yeah.
And really just share that love and ease people, like those stressors and just change. The only thing we can really change is ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's changing every aspect of how you perceive things, relations, connection, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting when you say that. I remember times when I felt like I had been doing so much healing, right? I've been focused on doing healing work since 2006. So it's almost 20 years of being on a healing journey.
Yeah.
And getting to points of going, I have already healed enough. They should be different by now. I have already healed enough. Life should be better. I have changed enough. I have... And at that point in time, I was still very much attached to the identity of who I was and who I am in that moment.
You were just doing this for me.
Yes. And now it's like... Yeah, I'll just keep shifting and I'll just keep changing. And I know a lot of people run up against that where it's like, I've already done so much. I don't want to do anymore. Now it's time for everyone else to step up to the plate. And yes, in an ideal world, everybody does just naturally step up to the plate. But I realized, I'm going to say in that 2020 to 2023 era of my life, where it was like, do I want you to heal and change and shift? Absolutely. That would be wonderful. But I'm not waiting around.
Yeah.
Like I will just keep taking it in and shifting myself and meeting every single edge of me, because this is just what I'm doing. This is my connection to whatever this is. And at that time, I had no idea what was pulling me forward. Now I have a better idea of what is pulling me forward. But back then I didn't. But I guess it's that ownership piece of, I'll just take ownership for all of this.
Yeah.
Whatever. You don't want to change? I've got it. And I mean, I wasn't very loving about it back then. It was like, fine, I've got it.
I'll do it all.
Yeah.
And I would say, my journey in enlightenment and whatnot, it's now been a 20-year journey. It's been a lifetime journey, but I dibble and dabble, right? It's like I have an awareness, but I'm also very logical about things. So it's like, but I never really embraced it.
Yeah.
And I never really put much to it until I hit that pinnacle point where it was like everything just kind of stopped and went into slow motion. It was like, oh, this is what this is all about.
Yeah.
And this has none of these other things really matter that much.
Yeah.
They do. Just there's more to this.
Yeah.
And that's where it was like, okay, I need to know more. I need to...
You got the curiosity bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a key piece for a lot of people, is to be willing to step out of whatever, if it's logic that's been holding them back, if it's ego, illusion, or whatever that's been holding them back, and to step into that curiosity and look to make those connections with the self, look to make those connections with God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And in that's where things start to open up.
Oh, I think those pieces will actually lead you to that as well.
Yeah.
I don't think they block that, right? Because logic will get you there as well, but it doesn't get you feeling it.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's where I ran into my own troubles, was knowing things, right? So saying that I've been on a journey for 20 years healing, no, I was collecting a lot of information for a lot of those years.
Yeah.
And I had the idea of the concepts right here in my brain, and I could bring out each concept and I could look at it and I could go, yep, this is what I need to apply, et cetera, et cetera. And it wasn't until 2022 to 2023, so like, what is that, 17 years into the experience or something like that.
Yeah.
Math ain't my strong point. But it was in doing that I started to actually embody those truths and actually understand them, where I remember there was a few times where I'd tell you things and I'm like, this concept, I'm feeling it in every cell of my body. Like every cell of my body is remembering this. And before I just knew it, but now I can feel it.
Yeah, and I think that you bring up a good point. It's that embodiment piece. Sure, we can know these things. Yeah. We can talk about these things. Are you living them?
Yeah.
Are you, and not just when people are watching, when you're by yourself, and not that you need oversight, but are you really being authentic to yourself and that connection to source?
Yeah, exactly. Because one of the pitfalls that I think us as humans all fall into is in that sense of knowing, right? Like when we know a concept, if someone tries to tell us that concept in a moment where we're not remembering that concept, our brain will automatically say to them, yeah, I know that already, right? And it almost is like, yeah, I've got the concept, so I don't need to hear that anymore. But in that moment, if you're not embodying it, then you're just storing the concept for what?
Right. And if you go back to what we were just saying about that connection that you're creating, so you've created this connection with this person that is coming back to you and saying whatever, as a reflection or mirror for you to listen, and you're saying, I know, and you know what I mean? You're running up against yourself. It's like, oh.
Because it goes back into that victim consciousness. I know that already. Yeah. Why aren't you helping me?
Because you're not embodying it.
And I can see where I've also, like, there's been so many times where I've held the concepts as being like, that's the ultimate truth.
Yeah.
Right? And going, that's all you just need to do is just this concept. But I also, like, in not embodying it, you don't actually understand what the concept is, right? And you have to integrate it into your daily life to go, how does that apply to this moment now?
To almost every moment, right? It is not just doing it a one-off. It is, again, that connection and embodying those things all the time.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is I didn't even... Oh my goodness, I'm outing myself here. But for the longest time when people would talk about embodiment, had no idea what that even meant. Right? Like it was just like, it's a spiritual word that everybody talks about. And I know I need to embody things. Yeah. No idea what that truly means. And then the first time I actually experienced it, like coming into my body and like every cell of my body remembering it, it was like, oh, this is embodiment. This is what this word means. Yeah, and it's so funny. Again, it's like I understand the concept of embodiment, but I honestly didn't even understand the concept of it.
Well, that's, again, goes back to knowing it versus living it or embodying it, or like really living it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Really feeling it in your soul, in your body.
Yeah. And then looking for the parts of you that don't actually remember that, that don't want to embody it, that don't want to believe that it's true. Like going back to the idea of being connected to God, source, energy, right? There are so many people who have experienced such deep religious trauma that the idea of even being connected to God, source, energy is like, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Like that was a hateful thing or whatever. And it's like, well, that was a man-made concept that made you believe that God hated you.
Yeah.
God truly doesn't hate you.
That's why I try to not use God. I say source or universe or whatever. It's because people have such a stigma built up because, oh, what about this? Or what about my God? What about, that, whatever, this energy that we're connected to, that we are a part of, that we are all encompassed by, is the thing.
Yes. Yes. And for anybody who... Yeah, yes, the no name. Hashtag love loss. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. I did, so I guess I am. But with this idea of just the word God, right? Knowing that brings up so much in people. It's like all of those parts of you now are resistant to a message because the word God was in it, which you've attached meaning to through illusion, that has created so much disconnection for you as a person, right?
Yeah.
And that's like when I say I had to walk these edges of my love, that was another piece of it.
Yeah.
Is looking at where do I resist being connected to God, source, energy, simply because of what the teachings here on earth have actually been about that.
Yeah, and I think it is that look at, when you look at people's different perspective of God as being out there, right? And we have talked about it, and I say it many times, like, we are God. We are those parts. We are pieces of that. Therefore, we are that.
Yeah.
And those connections that we have, that we think we don't have, are there. We just need to calm ourselves and really connect in to that source and realize that all of this around us belongs to us, is part of us.
Yeah. Well, and that's where that idea of the separation starts to really come in, which adds to the disconnection, because you might do something and I go, that's not correct. And I disconnect from you because now you've made a mistake, or you've expressed something differently than me, or you like something that I don't like, or whatever it might be, which then makes me kind of put this force field up. Nope, I can't accept this person. They're not godlike.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at, where can I find the divinity within them? Where can I see that part or remember that part about them?
Or where is that part of me, right? When we're seeing stuff that we don't like in somebody else, that is a reflection of somehow.
Yeah, it can be.
Of us. No, it can be, or I think it absolutely is. Regardless of, maybe it's not the exact behavior that they're displaying. Yeah. But maybe it's what got them to display that behavior that affects us. Yeah. But we all have the same.
And I agree 100% on that anything that we don't like in someone else is an opportunity for us to look at a disconnected part within ourselves that we've abandoned because we went, this part's not lovable. And also, I think we can have an awareness that when we're around certain people who perhaps are in, say, a victim consciousness, and you're no longer in a victim consciousness, you can remember, I remember that part of me. Yep. Right? And we can also have an awareness of a boundary around that person. I know every time I spend more than an hour and a half, my energy starts to go down. So I need to cap it at an hour and a half with this person. Not because I'm disconnected from this part of me, but I also know my light can only be in the presence of this for this long. This is how long my battery is. Yeah. And I think both are correct and both are okay. As long as you can remember, if it's coming up in you, that there's a part of you that perhaps you've completely embodied, Or perhaps there's some work that could be done around that. If you're going, that's not correct.
Yeah.
They're wrong. Well, then that's an opportunity to go, why not?
Yeah. Where is this in me?
Yeah. And why do you believe this to be right or wrong or good or bad or whatever it might be, preferred, non-preferred? And can you accept it? And that's the hard part, right? It is. You've got to let go of...
A preference, yes. You have to let go of an expectation that everything is going to be good, or everything's going to work out in my preferred way.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to work out however it needs to work out.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't, there's no preference. Yeah. It's just going to do what it needs to do.
Yeah, it's not personal.
No.
And
No, and we also talked about this week about like connections with people in general, like relatives and whatnot, and how some of the disconnect or connections of the past affect the future, right? Like how in some of our histories, the disconnection between family creates a different dynamic for that whoever that individual is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So if you had grandparents or whatever that divorced, didn't talk, had a bad relationship, and how that influences the connectivity down the line and how it changes the dynamic of that family.
Absolutely. And like I know in my family, and I think in so many families, there's always been this habit of disconnect. You don't agree with me, you're out. You don't agree with me, you're out. And it's just like severing these relationships.
You think about it, that the whole term, the black sheep of the family, that's kind of one of the, if you're not with us, you're over here.
Yeah.
And that's where some of that disconnection comes in. And I think it's not that the black sheep is a bad one or anything like that. They're just looking deeper.
Yeah.
From my perspective anyways, that from what I've seen is those people aren't looking to disconnect. It's not that they don't like their family or they're just looking for more.
Yes. And I mean, I think for a lot of families, because there's patterns that run through the family, right? There's behaviors that are acceptable, there's behaviors that are not acceptable, et cetera, et cetera. And so when you've got that one person who's like, you know what? Let me try this on. So in my family, I can see that there's been a suppression of voices, right? And it's been a big calling of me throughout my life to express myself. And at some points it's been through writing. At other times it's like, I want to be a singer, I want to be a speaker. And it all comes back to the throat. And so for me to be the one who's like, I'm going to speak to other people, it's like, what are you doing? That is death.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do that, I need to disconnect now, because death is surely coming your way, because now you're speaking and we have to be silent. And it can be so isolating to be that person, to go, I'm going to go my own way here and I'm going to try this on. Because here's the thing is, I can look around the world and I can see there's been plenty of people who can use their voice and they can tell their story and they can express themselves. So why can't I? Just because I came into this family? Well, perhaps I came into this family because I have to show them this is how it can be done, and that you'll still live through it and you'll still be loved and it's okay. Your voice matters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and when you start looking at those pieces of history and how things are disconnected, it's a good, I mean, we're definitely looking at my history and family history and whatnot, and there's a lot of strong different people doing things very much on their own, and not trying to be disconnected, but just this is what they did, and that's kind of where it got me thinking, why not let's look at it from their perspective. I don't think they intentionally don't want to have that bond or have that relation.
I don't think anybody wants to.
It's just they've been influenced by whatever that is.
Yeah.
So let's get everybody's perspective of what this was.
Yeah.
So I can have an idea of what I am dealing with in my body.
Exactly. Talk about
because
knowing
if we're
yourself.
all part of this source energy and they're the closest things to me,
Yeah.
then I want to know what their perspective is, because
Absolutely.
that is, I own that as well.
Yeah.
And I own this, and I own this, and I own this.
Yeah.
But I want to know all of those parts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm like, yes, preach it. Because I think it's so important that if we don't truly look to understand each person's perspective, why they believe what they believe, why they think what they think, why they do what they do, etc., it is disconnecting us from so many parts within ourselves.
Well, you start limiting, right? You start really getting hard-lined on, no, this is acceptable, or yes, this is acceptable, no, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
And it really, you gotta break those barriers and go, everything is acceptable, it just is.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It may not be my preferred reality or my preference to see whatever that way, but that's okay.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting because if you think of like a little child that's like, you know, fresh into this world, say 2 years old, 3 years old, they haven't experienced a whole lot. And as they grow and they start to experience more life and they start to express themselves more wildly and loudly and all of this, as parents, we often get excited over that stage of like, oh, look at them discovering the world and stuff.
Yeah.
But at certain ages, then we kind of disconnect from that. And I don't really know when it happens. I know I've done it as a parent. I know my parents did it to me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I do it to other people still, where it's like they've got this thing that's coming out for them that's wanting to be expressed. And we're like, oh, maybe not like that. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, and our own fears and our own limitations kind of come in instead of going, right, you're just experiencing this for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to try on, you know, dancing down the street? Go ahead. Like, just dance. See what that's like for you.
And it brings up a good point, is how much we project onto other people our things, where instead of just letting them experience this beautiful world, right? Like, we put them in a box instead of just going, just express yourself however you need to, whatever feels right.
And to have that curiosity with them too, like, well, what was that like? You know, if we're all experiencing life and expressing life as God wants to be witnessed or as life wants to be played out, to be curious about each person's experience of whatever, like, what was that like? How did that make you feel? What made you feel alive about that? What feelings came up? Like, all of these kinds of things. And then we get to actually experience another person's life through them and witness more of that kind of God energy and the challenges. I think this is why I like storytelling so much. I love hearing people's experiences. I love hearing the shit that they've had to go through. And I shouldn't get so excited about it. Even trauma. I'm like, oh, really? Like, let me look at this ancestral trauma. And I get so worked up because I'm like, yes, look at the patterns all coming together. Like, this moment now, it's so beautiful. And I think it just allows us to experience more of that divinity and the beauty in that divinity.
You have to witness it, right?
Yeah. And I think us as humans, we all do that. This is why we watch movies. It's why we watch TV. It's why we read books. It's why we, you know, even like the fail videos. Yeah. Right? I don't have to do that now because I got to witness them experience it and I got a chuckle out of it, or I went, or whatever it might be. You know, that's what we're here to do for each other.
Yeah. I agree.
And I find it interesting too that, like, we live in a lonely world, right? Most people feel alone.
Yes.
Most people feel misunderstood. Most people feel like no one understands them or truly gets them or wants to listen to them or values them or whatever. And in that, I think this fear kind of comes over us and we go, I don't want anyone to witness me because I'm like this lowly old person. And yet when we are able to like actually connect with someone, and we're able to draw out all of these hidden, like every single human out there is actually fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and we all have the same fears, right? We all have the same. This is where I go back to this one source: is we're not, as much as we think we're special or we're different, we're not, and we need to take care of each other like we're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that is where that connection is there.
Yeah.
We just we want to believe that we're different and this is not me, but it's not. It is you.
Yeah.
So take care of you and 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 you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting. Like, if we could just take the walls down, it is just walls of protection.
Yeah.
But to just take those walls down to go, yeah, this is who I am as a messy human. I'm not perfect. I experience life this way. And in that, I think as we share stories and as we express ourselves and we express where we've disconnected, where we've reconnected, what we've learned and whatnot, if we can stay open to hearing everybody's kind of story, there's a lot of wisdom in that. There's so much gold.
And there would be so much more harmony if we got to that level.
Yeah.
Just, sure, on a global scale would be great, but even starting at a small scale,
start in your house.
Well, right? And just having that common understanding that it's okay.
Yeah.
That it's not personal. That we are all into this together.
Yeah.
That we all want these things.
Yeah.
That we all fear these things.
Yeah. Well, and there's
really nothing to fear, actually, when you really think about it. But
yeah, it brings me back to earlier this morning when I said to you, that I had such a belief or such a programming in my mind that men did not want connection, and men did not want intimacy, and men did not want romance, and men didn't want the same way women did.
Yeah.
That women are looking for deeper connection, and women are looking to, express our emotions and all of this. And it's really only been in the past 2 years that I've went, wow, no, men are deep feelers. Men are very sensitive. Men are looking for that connection and looking for someone to be intimate with, not in a sexual way, but to just reveal themselves. But because of the programmings and beliefs that I took on willingly or unwillingly, I truly thought it was only women that wanted that, and that men were just very sex driven, essentially.
The yin yang, right? It's like we can't see the other side. We can only see what's in our part, and until you go and say that yin yang is, that whole thing is you.
Yeah.
Right? It's that duality.
Yeah.
And understanding there is duality in you.
Yeah.
That you need to honor.
Absolutely.
So you need to honor both sides of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is. It's interesting that you only seen it in that side.
Well, and then I would ask you, as a man on the opposite side of this, when you were growing up, did you have a messaging that women were only looking for romance, love, deep connection, deep feelings, and that they weren't sexual beings? You had to convince them for that.
No, I totally agree with your programming.
Okay.
We are programmed this way.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not programmed to think that in this avatar lies this duality.
Yes, okay.
We're programmed that this is what this is. This is male.
This is the masculine.
And this is how you act.
Yeah.
And this is what your programming says to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't go, oh, I have all of this going on in here.
Yeah. And so then men have to completely disconnect from that feminine aspect.
Well, and same with women have to disconnect from their feminine to see the masculine. When you don't, it's all here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just need to be curious about it, right? And look into it and go, okay, there is pieces here. I know there's pieces here.
Yeah. Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of us, it's interesting because we talk about men leading or the masculine leading. And for most of us, I think we do get kind of trapped in that masculine energy. And I say trapped very loosely, but it's a very go, action, mind, logical, whatever. It's go, go, go. Where that feminine is more relaxed, more nurtured, and more feeling based, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
On the inside,
yeah.
right? And so to do that dance within yourself instead of looking at it as this external thing to go, I need to be in my masculine. Like, I understand right now on social media, there's a lot of talk to a lot of men about how they need to lead, how they need to be the ones to lead the way for the feminine.
I think we have the right concept, just it's kind of not 100%, and I can't say I'm 100% correct, but within these avatars, again, there's that masculine and feminine.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be a man that leads. The masculine can lead. The feminine can lead. What that avatar presents itself as is totally irrelevant.
Exactly.
It's the energy that is being brought forward for whatever that situation is.
Yes.
That needs to lead, whether it's one or the other.
Yes, and how I'm seeing that play out, to bring it back to disconnection, is what I'm witnessing in a lot of women is women disconnecting from their husbands because the husbands are not stepping up to lead the woman or to keep the woman safe or whatever, because they're very much stuck in this external of the masculine and the feminine and what these roles are supposed to be. And so they're saying to these essentially broken men, you now need to lead me because I understand I'm a feminine energy and now you need to lead me. So step into your masculine and know how to lead.
Well, isn't that masculine energy?
Well, that's just it, right? It's that masculine energy that's coming out, that's angry.
You're leading the way with that anger.
Yes. And then the man in the relationship is often going, I don't know.
So the man in the relationship is taking on the feminine energy.
Okay.
And going, okay, you're telling me, you're leading because you're saying, okay, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And the male in the feminine energy is pulling back, going, but I just want this connection. I just want whatever. I don't want to be the protector. I want to be the soft part. I'm here.
Yeah. It's so interesting because when you take it, like bring it back into you and reconnect with your truth and you allow yourself to feel the feminine, because the way I've kind of got it in my mind now, and I might be correct and I might be incorrect, but I see my mind as being my masculine, right? It is the leader that's going to create the structure that I need out here in the external world to take action, to do the things, to lead the way. And the feminine is my heart. Right. And so the heart will come up and it will say, I want to do this thing. Right. And my mind could be like, oh, we can't do that. We're not capable, blah, blah, blah. And that's the toxic masculine, putting down the feminine. It's abusive. Or I can train my mind to like, I want to do this thing. And my mind goes, oh, okay. Let me find a way to create this structure so you can express yourself out here, right? And I have to create that safety for my heart to be willing to speak up and go, I want to do this thing and I want to follow this calling. And now my mind has to create the structure. It has nothing to do with you. Do you know what I mean? It's like it has nothing to do with anybody else. This is all an inside job that I get to do, and I get to determine with my inner masculine and inner feminine as I listen to both of them and being the observer on the outside of both to be able to see where does the masculine need a little bit of work, right? My masculine's a little bit lazy. I know that. My masculine's like, what is the most comfortable way? I can do this, right? It doesn't want to have to like build that stamina or strength or whatever, but I'm working on that. I have an awareness of it, and I shouldn't even say my masculine is lazy, because I'm like, I've actually done a lot of shit in my life. I don't know if you could
name those energies. Like, there's definitely, both have the opportunity and the ability to be lazy, whatever, right?
Yeah.
The driver versus the non-driver.
Yeah.
And I like the concept of the masculine, feminine, heart, brain, but I also think that they can both be interchangeable. The man or the masculine heart can lead, right? Or the masculine not even lead, but the feminine brain can have a masculine heart. You know, they present themselves differently, but you can see it. You see it in how people deal with different situations or whatever. It's like you can see a difference in situations where it's like, okay, if I have to go to war, I have to go to war to protect my family. Well, that's love.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? But that's still that masculine, I need to do this.
Yeah.
Kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And you can switch that and go, I just want people to be peaceful, so this is what I have to do.
Okay. Because, I guess I've always seen, because what I've heard a lot and what I've read a lot is like masculine is very logical. Right? It's very plan oriented and direction focused and action. And where the feminine is like emotionally driven and very like, let me go with the flow. And so when I feel into that in my body, my brain is the one that's very like action oriented and like, I love to make my to-do list. I love to come up with a plan. It's like, I need that structure.
Yeah.
And then my heart just tends to flourish when I have that structure. When I eliminate that structure, because I've tried that on quite a few different times to be like, I don't need a plan. And then my heart just kind of goes, I've got nothing to work towards.
And you're speaking of two different, very like hard dynamics. I'm saying that I think there's room for both and they're subtle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I understand because I'm going, ooh, yes.
There's that interconnection.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have very much went, okay, masculine, feminine, right? And it's like, oh, but what would this look like in the masculine and what would this look like in the feminine? You know, because gonna have to ponder on that one a little bit more.
Ponder away.
Because
it's there, it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's out there and
ultimately it's a dance that you're doing within yourself. Right? And it's also the same like when you're connecting with source, it's a dance with source, right? Where you're allowing source to lead you. You're allowing yourself to be in that flow and be in the flow.
Yes. Always go with the flow.
Yes. But it's hard sometimes to truly trust and to truly surrender to that flow.
Which is great because when you think of the flow, okay, when we talk about flow and you say, nice, go with the flow. That is all about connection.
Yeah.
Right? When you think about water is not disconnected from itself.
Yeah.
It is all together. There may be one particle or one molecule or whatever of that water thinks it's special.
Yeah.
But it's still connected.
Yeah. And
it's still flowing in sometimes the past of her, but it's still that connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and just going with the flow is not being so rigid, right? It's not doing everything that everybody wants. It is just be open, be willing, experience. That's what we're here to do is experience.
Yeah.
And witness.
Yeah.
Sure, you can be cautious and you can still go with the flow. You can slow down in the river.
Yeah.
You don't have to zoom by everything.
Yeah.
You can lay back and relax and just...
Yeah.
But don't try to swim the other way.
Yeah.
You're just going to tire yourself out. Just, it's okay. Or swim forward as fast as you want.
And see, it's so interesting because when we first got together and you told me, read this book, Creative Visualizations by Shakti Gawain.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And I was really resistant to it for such a long time. And you always came back to go with the flow. And in my mind at that time, when you would say, go with the flow and like read this book and whatnot, to me, like when you go to Niagara Falls and you're like standing like over here where you're watching all of the water rush towards the falls.
Yeah.
That's what I felt going with the flow actually felt like, was like, that water is going to pull me under. It's turbulent. It's, and we're headed towards a waterfall and it is going to crash and burn and, my mind is dramatic.
Yeah. But isn't that great?
now I can see it as great.
Yeah.
Now I can see the river as having its own peaks and valleys, and times where things are going to quicken up, and times where everything settles and I can just relax for a bit. But it took me a lot to let go of the fears of what I thought going with the flow was going to actually look like.
Yeah.
And I think because I was in my attempts to connect with Source, I couldn't allow myself to fully connect because I was still trying so hard to control. Yeah. Like, create the riverbank, create the water flow, create the boat in which we will go, but have a track in there so you don't get too far off course. Like, it was like very well planned and very well maintained, and this is exactly how the flow needs to go.
Yeah.
And anything that didn't look like that, it was like, well, now I can't trust you. And sometimes I reverted that to you too. Yeah. I can't trust you because I am so terrified of what this is going to look like. Your flow looks like it's, heading right over the falls there. And it had nothing to do with you. It was my own distrust in Source energy and trusting that life was going to provide, that life was going to support me. And I think a lot of us go through those experiences of thinking, no, life is against me. It's not.
Yeah. And I think the more we feed, the more you bring that in, right? We talk about this too, where it's like, the more you focus on these things, the more you're going to, not out there is going to manifest it, you're going to. So going with the flow is just, again, being willing to have a bad day or have bad things happen and not let it not get into that victimization or that victim mentality.
Yeah.
It's just, it is. Okay, yep. Okay, let's continue down the river. Yeah.
And we get it. It's hard sometimes, right? We're human, and it is so much easier to go into victim mentality and into life is against me and into everybody else is the problem and I'm not. We get it. We've tried them all on for size, and we've decided we don't like those things anymore. And so now we're trying on other things for size, and we're going, oh, this is actually a lot easier over here.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing we can do is let go, right?
Yep.
I mean, we can try to force all of these things to happen. We can try to be this way. We can try, but you'll find more peace if you just do go with the flow and just let it happen through you. Let be the experiencer, be the observer, and just go with the flow.
Yes. So we're just going to end you off on that note. As you go through this next week and as we start to approach the holidays, you're of course going to meet edges of yourself and parts of yourself that are not preferring what is showing up, but challenge yourself or encourage yourself to just look for where are those edges of your connection. And if you can't connect with others, can you at least connect with yourself, connect with Source energy to feel your way back into your center. As always, if you have any questions, comments,
reach out. We're available. We'd love to have
to connect.
Yeah, we'd love to have a different perspective. And don't forget to like, subscribe,
and
all those
comment,
things,
all those
and
things.
comment.
Yes.
All right.
Have a great day, everyone.
Take care, folks.